Y'all, I cannot tell you how excited I am to start this year's Benevolent Fund campaign, and really so incredibly important during this time in our community. And we'll talk a little bit about why it's important. And y'all know that our mission at the Benevolent Fund is to better our community by providing financial support to nonprofits as well as to UAB employees that are in financial crisis. And so we are super excited to start this campaign and to have y'all be a part of it. And I'm so thankful to everyone for your work with the Benevolent Fund campaign this year. Talking about the nonprofits that we support, since we were founded, we have awarded approximately $42 million in financial support to local nonprofits. Last year, we awarded $1,441,000 to 133 different local nonprofits. And I think, at the beginning of last year's campaign was when everything kind of changed for the entire world. And folks were wondering how any business would survive, but especially how nonprofits would survive. And our nonprofits did some incredible things. They moved to virtual programming. They worked to increase their reach, bring in new audiences, and add more possibilities for audience participation. And I'll just give you a couple of examples. Meals on Wheels, they are known for home delivery of hot meals to seniors. And along with that, very often comes the only human contact that those seniors have in any given day. And they're really considered almost wellness checks just to make sure that that senior is doing okay. And Meals on Wheels wanted to reduce exposure for their volunteers. They wanted to reduce exposure for their senior citizens. Not knowing what was going to happen, they started out actually with 21 days of frozen meals delivered. And then they started weekly delivering 7 frozen meals and following up with phone calls daily to make sure that those seniors were doing well. And that's allowed them to serve a lot more people and to continue to do those regular daily checks, as well as minimize potential exposure to the COVID virus. And Girls Incorporated, another great example, they went from center-based programs into virtual learning opportunities. And one of the things that they decided to do, because STEM education is so important to them, they put together care packages that were sent to every girl that participates in their program, so that they could virtually engage in the experiment. So, if you were building a volcano, you would have the baking soda and all that kind of stuff. We wouldn't assume, or they didn't assume, that families had that. They gave them all the materials that they needed to do their very own experiment. And that was just a huge hit. And so those are just a few examples of some of the incredible ways that our nonprofits are responding. And I have to tell you another thing that I just read about yesterday. Hand and Paw, one of their programs, they've been doing virtual visits, but one of their programs is a reading program. And what they did in the schools was, they make sure every kid has the book to read and the dog has it. And so they read books, but they started writing letters, and the dog would write a letter to the student. The student would have to read it. And so that was another way to engage. But then they got the students to write letters back to the dog. And so they've really been doing some creative ways to engage, things that I think ultimately will allow more people to participate. I have fabulous dogs, but they couldn't go and visit in person because they're too skittish or they like to lick too much. But I could do that with my dog. So lots of creative things that are happening within our nonprofits. Employee emergency assistance. So that looked a little different after March. We moved to Zoom or phone appointments. We mailed out applications, either email or US mail. If people had trouble, they could drive through. We would give them the documents. We would pick up documents from them if they didn't have the ability to scan or fax. And then assistance checks, for the most part, are direct deposited. And so that's wonderful. Another really important thing about employee emergency assistance is the referrals that we make, the partnerships that we have with the nonprofits that we support. We're able to refer our employees to them. We know about governmental programs that may be able to assist. We make sure that they're taking advantage of all the benefits that UAB offers. And y'all saw that UAB is the best place in the US to work according to Forbes. So there are lots of great benefits we want to make sure our employees have access to. And then one of those benefits is our Employee Assistance and Counseling Center, and they offer financial counseling. And anybody that comes in and asks for help through employee emergency assistance, we refer them to financial counseling and ask them to go do at least one session so that they can start themselves down the road to financial stability. In 2020, we did help 66 employees that were in financial need because of a medical situation or a disaster, especially these Fultondale tornadoes. We've helped several people related to that, several people related to COVID, and then some domestic violence situations. So that's our employee emergency assistance. And Blazer Kitchen. Y'all know about this program that we started in 2017, in March of 2017. And since then, we provided enough food for over 385,000 meals. We serve employees, students, and patients. And during COVID, we immediately, just within a couple of days, didn't miss any scheduled times for people to pick up. We immediately moved through drive-through pickup, changed to online appointment registration. And since March, we've delivered enough food for 112,000 meals, served 290 different families, employee families and student families. And that equates to about 3,600 different shopping visits or trips to Blazer Kitchen. So helping make sure people have access to healthy, nutritious food. We have an incredible garden that we started this year with Blazer Kitchen to make sure that we got some produce that's coming in, taking advantage of every opportunity that we have. One of the biggest partners with our Blazer Kitchen is the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. We support them as a nonprofit, but they also support us through allowing us to access food for an average of about 16 cents a pound. And that's produce, meats, dairy product. And so it's really a wonderful opportunity for us. And we were able to take advantage of the Farmers to Families program, which provided about 40 pounds of produce to our shoppers every week for several months throughout the summer and early fall. And so that was, just another way that we were able to make those connections and make them work for our UAB community. So some of y'all, we're doing our programs, but some of you may wonder about the impact of COVID on our programming. So with the economy, the needs of the community definitely increased, but our giving to the community decreased. We awarded about $250,000 less to local nonprofits last year. And our Habitat House build was canceled due to funding concerns. We raised about $12,000 of the 50,000 that we need to support habitat builds. And also there was just an inability to build safely. Habitat has significantly cut back on the number of houses that they build because they really are not utilizing volunteers. And local grants from nonprofits that are not on our designation list have always been able to write a grant. The grants are reviewed by our committee, and we would be able to, award dollars, typically about $100,000 a year. And we canceled those for 2021 because of financial concerns and just not as many pledges coming in because the campaign was canceled. So our new gifts were minimal. And for those people who have continuous pledges, when they leave UAB, we also lose those gifts. And our new employee orientation went virtual. And so new pledges decreased to almost zero because we're not there talking to them. We're not there sharing the information. And we just knew that there were definitely financial challenges, and we're doing what we can. We're 1.45 million to the community is absolutely amazing. It's just not what we've done in the past. So we're hoping that this campaign will help boost those dollars and get us back to some pre-COVID levels. Just a couple of other things. The Benevolent Fund, if you want to look at it this way, really is a great return on our investment. So we invest in the community and the community invests in UAB. We do have those productive partnerships with nonprofits, whether it's Hand and Paw that does, in the past, they've done 18,000 patient visits a year at no cost to UAB Hospital, plus stress relief breaks at UAB. Nonprofits that, like the Alabama Kidney Foundation, that give $750,000 in patient assistance to patients with advanced kidney disease. And the vast majority of those patients get their care at UAB Hospital. And that helps our patients, whether it's paying a utility bill because it's increased due to in-home dialysis, or transportation assistance to get to and from dialysis that, happens multiple times a week. So productive partnerships are really important. And awards, research grants. Every year, $20 to $25 million in research grants comes to UAB from the nonprofits that we support. In fact, last year, the Breast Cancer Research Foundation of Alabama awarded to UAB just over $1 million in research towards breast cancer. We also provide, the nonprofits we support provide opportunities for students to gain vital skills through service learning and research. And the same services that those nonprofits offer to our neighbors in the community, they help our UAB employees, students, and patients. In fact, I was just talking with our Vista and social work intern about this. We've got a couple of cases that are coming to our Employee Emergency Assistance Committee. And in both instances, for our cases today, it's someone who had a family member die because of COVID, and just talking about making sure that we're able to refer them not only to the benefits that UAB has, but to community grief support, which is a nonprofit we typically support through grants, and the Amelia Center, which is a grief counseling center for parents who have lost children and children who have lost parents. And so those services, because we partner with those nonprofits, we know about them, we're aware of them, and we are able to refer our UAB employees to them. So it really is very mutually beneficial. And when employees give through the Benevolent Fund, it really lets those nonprofits know that we value our relationship and our partnership with them. last thing that I'm going to talk about, and then I'll turn it over to Danielle Buchanan, is this the one you're supposed to do?
It's me.
It's you. I'm turning it over now. Danielle is our manager from annual giving and kind of helps coordinate our fundraising efforts. And so, Danielle, how about it?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm really excited. This is my first time talking to you guys or anything like this. And this is my very first year in this role. So thank you so much for having me. To dive into my side of this presentation, I want to talk about the different ways that you can help and ways that you can others to support the Benevolent Fund as well. So this first slide is how can you help with the Blazer Kitchen specifically? So one of the big things is volunteering when students are off campus. Students make up a majority of the volunteers, and when they aren't available, it's a challenge to get those volunteers into the Blazer Kitchen. So if you have the time, or you can encourage some folks in your unit to donate some time, we definitely appreciate that. There are tons of ways that if you're faculty, your classes, or if you're any part of any organizations on campus, can interact with the Blazer Kitchen and the Benevolent Fund. You can have students have access to some learning opportunities with us, or a great new option is adopting a plot in the Blazer Kitchen garden, whether you're doing that as an individual or as a team. The Department of Biology and UAB Sustainability has partnered with the Blazer Kitchen to create the garden, and we grow fresh produce so that folks that use the Blazer Kitchen can have access to that. So if you want to help grow fresh produce, that's a great option. And there are a ton of other great examples on this page as well that you can encourage folks to help with. So there are tons of different ways to make a gift as well. Giving a donation is one of the easiest ways to get involved. There are a couple different options. You can give via payroll deduction, you can give via check, or credit card donations. And to get a pledge form or to make a credit card gift or a payroll deduction gift, you can just go to uab.edu/benfund. And that's a super easy link that you can share out with all the folks in your area. We're also on the UAB app. So if you use the app, you can find us there as well. Next slide, Lisa, please. Yep. Thank you. The campaign for this year for the academic and administration side is going to be from February 15th, that's Monday, down to March 15th. And then the UAB medicine side will be having a campaign from April 1st through the 30th. Our plans on, I guess, the central side, we're going to be sending out a letter and a postcard. We're going to be sending out some emails. We're going to be available to speak at some different meetings, so please invite us to your meetings. We'll also be doing some social media posts, so please make sure you like and share those. And we're also going to have a logo for this year that you can actually customize with your unit name and use that for all of your communications for the campaign. You can see the logo up in the top left corner on this slide. Yes. As a side note, folks who currently have a pledge don't need to fill out a new form for the new campaign. The only time you need to fill out a new form is if you're making changes to an existing pledge or if it's a new pledge. So if anyone has questions about that, that's the answer to that question. All right, so our whole goal as campaign coordinators is to encourage giving during the campaign and get creative with that as much as you can. So One of the big things is that we're going to be sending those emails that I mentioned. We'd like to send that under our coordinator names so that folks in your unit will recognize who it's coming from. That comes through Marketing Cloud, so nothing's going to touch your inbox. We just need your permission to use your name, and you don't have to touch anything outside of that. Another big thing is trying to schedule presentations at your meetings, whether it's team meetings or department-wide meetings or organizations that you're part of. See if you can get a 10-minute spot in those meetings so that someone can come in and talk about the Benevolent Fund and all these great things that we're doing and why it's so important to give. Another thing that we'd love for you guys to do is follow Benevolent Fund on social media. Make sure that you're liking and sharing posts as you see them. The more the merrier, so keep an eye out for those. Another important thing is to be a goodwill ambassador, share our message, encourage those new gifts and increase giving, and make sure you're thanking your colleagues for those gifts. Get creative. Everyone loves a good thank you email, a handwritten thank you note. When you're asking folks to give, think of really interesting and fun ways to do that. You can, there's some great ideas that Lisa had on the side here. Every time someone shares something on social media from your unit and tags the hashtag, maybe you do a giveaway for those folks of like a t-shirt or something fun. Or if a group in your unit agrees to have a presenter and gives us that 10 minutes in their meetings, maybe we do something fun for them, like another t-shirt or whatever else people find fun, like a bag of candy or something cute. Just be creative and find ways to get people excited. Everyone loves a good friendly competition, so maybe think about that as well. Another thing is to make sure that you collect any paper pledge forms and get those over to Lisa. Lisa, what is the best way to get those to you?
So if people will call, we can schedule the best way, whether it's me coming over, whether they drop it off by driving through the AB on their way home and I run out and get it. We'll come up with the best way to get any pledge forms. If it's just a pledge form, you can scan it and send it to me. If it's a check, I need to pick it up, obviously, in person. And there was another question about t-shirts. And yes, we will. We've got t-shirts. We've got lots of extra t-shirts from over the years. And so I would love to get those out in the community, let people wear them. Some of them are just like the UAB 50, but other ones have Benevolent Fund on them. We would love to get those out to people. So if you want a t-shirt to share for somebody in your area that, does a social media post about the Benevolent Fund, let us know. We can definitely do that. And we will also do some prizes for you guys as campaign coordinators when y'all schedule meetings. And so we'll draw for those. And yes, if you share information in Teams, that will count. Just let us know about that. Any way we can get the message out, it's definitely something that we want to do. And so we are so appreciative of any opportunities that y'all give us to share that message.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and we are going to send you all out this presentation. And so y'all can adapt it as you want for presentations or pull a slide and share it with people, whatever you want to do. And Danielle and I are both available to speak to your group, and we can definitely tailor it and make it a little bit shorter than we are today.
Yes, and I was going to say Teams is a great idea. My team definitely uses Teams all day, every day, so that's awesome. my kind of motto when it comes to fundraising is meet people where they are. So if people spend all their time in teams, meet them in teams. If you guys use Slack, just wherever people spend their most time, that's where you want to go. So that's great. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. So we have a goal this year of $2 million during the campaign. So that's a big goal, but I think we can get there. And we already have some, dollars in the door. So we are on our way. We just have a little ways to go, right?
That's right.
We have a current percentage listed down there of 24% of our faculty and 33% of our staff are doing continuous pledges. So if you're on the faculty side, that's a great way to boost some competition there and try to beat the staff side, or hold on to your lead as a staff member. So that would be a great way to kick people into gear. If you have if you need numbers for your particular unit, that might be something that we can get you like a percentage, and you can strongly encourage folks to beat their goal from last year. And there's a question from Franny asking if there's a minimum donation or monthly pledge. I don't believe there is. So Lisa, do you want to chime in on that?
Yes. So the minimum monthly contribution is $1. So, I guess technically people might want to do less, but the minimum monthly contribution is $1.
Great. So easy peasy. Any gift, no matter the size, makes a difference. So
absolutely.
Just making a gift is the most important thing. Yeah.
And I was going to say, I think that's all we have. If y'all have questions, we are just so grateful and so thankful that y'all are giving your time and talent and treasure to help the Benevolent Fund do so much good in our community. And we couldn't do this without you. So thank y'all for making that happen. And
Lisa, quick question.
Yes.
So if we wanted to set up a competition, typically we will do Dean's office versus the departments. Are we getting the data on our units to be able to tell?
So yes, if you want a specific, if you want something specific for your area, let me know. We will also be working, I don't know if we'll be able to get a web page, but at the very least, what we can do is have an email that goes out to everybody so that this is the giving in your area, this is the percent of faculty, the percent of staff, or if you're interested, we can do the dean's office versus the rest of the area. So we will be doing this coordinator training is specifically for academic and administrative side. We are recording it. We will make it available for other coordinators, but we will also do a live one specifically for UAB medicine. And one of the questions was about ways to track who's giving so that we can let people know. And we will definitely do that. Let y'all know who in your area has made a gift so that you can thank them. And so we'll start out by letting you know these are the people, and we can work on that today. Letting people know these are the people with current pledges, and then at the end of the campaign, we'll let you know these are the people who have given. So any other questions, anything else we can help y'all with? And sorry, we're running a couple minutes behind. But if y'all have any questions, we're happy to take them. And Danielle and I'll hang on if, anybody wants to ask a question. But if you need to go, certainly feel free to go.
Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Hey, Lisa, I have a quick question. So if this is Carla Parrish, I'm sorry. If we wanted to schedule a time to fit somebody in for the 10 minutes in a meeting, do we need to contact you, Lisa?
Yes. contact me. We actually have a way to schedule a speaker online. I will send that to everybody in an email today, but you can certainly email me and I'll be happy to do that. And when we talk about speakers, even though our campaign target date is February 15th to March 15th, if you've got a staff meeting that's happening in April, we want to come. If you've got one that doesn't happen until May, again, just getting this information out there to everybody, I think is the most important thing. And we take pledges year round, so it's perfectly fine. If we're a little outside the time frame, we just appreciate any opportunity to share the message.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. I'm making notes so I make sure and send everybody everything.
All right. Any other questions? If you can't think of any right now, that's totally fine. Lisa and I are available by email as well. So feel free to shoot those questions over if you think of some later on. I'm also pretty active on Teams, so if you prefer to communicate via Teams, feel free to shoot me a message there as well.
Yeah. Good. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. And y'all have a fabulous weekend, and maybe the sun will peek out just a little bit for us.
Yes. Everyone have a happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.